Italy, Zulu 2, Bravo, Victor Charlie.
Czy to nie jest jednak jakaś choroba, szczególnie jeżeli do tego
Összevonták kétszer, így lett a finom étel.
Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, if you are looking for some SSB shortwave receiver which is able to receive the amateur radio bands, you can go for so many radios today on the Chinese market. But if you are looking for something bigger for your desk, you can go for the Radi RF919, which is able to receive on shortwave, long wave, middle wave, but also 2 meter and 70 centimeter bands. It does also the single sideband modulation, FM and AM. Well, if you think that this radio is too big and too heavy maybe for your needs, you can go for something smaller. The Texon PL600 is one of them, but this is pretty old radio, and you can also find some new ones on the AliExpress, maybe are equal with the size and quality. If you still think that the Texon PL600 is too big for your needs, you can go for something smaller. The Texon PL330 is a very well-made small radio, small receiver, which is also capable work on the long waves, middle waves and short wave bands. It also does the FM broadcast band. All of them are working with the single sideband modulation as well as the AM stations and also the FM broadcast stations. But if you still think that your pocket is too tiny for such a radio like a PL330, you can go for something special. This is the very tiny radio. As you can see, it fits into my palm, and it is a really nice receiver based on the ESP32 chip combined with the Si4732 shortwave receiver chip. This is actually the smallest radio I have ever seen and I ever had in my hands. This receiver also receives the long waves, middle waves and short wave bands. It also does the SSB reception, so you are able to receive the amateur radio bands, and it has a built-in battery and this pretty large IPS screen, which is not a touch screen, but this is the very good that is not the touch screen because it doesn't produce any noise on even the built-in antenna. So let me overview this receiver, let me show you more about this, and I really hope that you will enjoy today's video. So let's get started. Well, this receiver came with this original aluminium knob and also with this frame antenna. Actually, I was not very happy with this aluminium knob, and therefore I replaced it with this rubbery knob, which is much comfortable to tune and use it. And also I was not very happy with the design of this knob, and therefore I used this one. So therefore I am not going to show you this knob anymore, and this radio will be equipped with my custom knob on it. This radio came also together with this frame antenna, which should work from 929 kHz up to 181 MHz. Actually, this is not very true because I was playing with this antenna and the radio, and I have to say that this antenna is very well working on the lower frequencies. It very well working on the long waves, middle waves and also on short waves. It is pretty comparable with the telescopic whip antenna, but the size of this antenna is much smaller, of course, and this is the reason why is this antenna well for this radio. It doesn't receive much on the FM band or on VHF band. This is the frame antenna and made of the fiber glass PC board. It is a printed coil on it, and I have counted that it may be something around 50 turns of the coil on it printed on this PCB. Somewhere over here you can see a little hole, and this is the place where these wire are going through this board up here, and there these turns continuing to the second side. The end of this turn is coming to the center pin of this SMA male connector. The ground of this connector is connected to the another side of this coil. That's a pretty well made frame antenna. This antenna is or has some advantage that it is also a directional antenna, but the directivity of this antenna is much better on the lower frequencies. Dimensions of this radio are pretty interesting. It's 8 centimeter wide, about 3 centimeter high, and about 2 centimeter thick. This is 1.9-inch IPS screen, which is quite well visible in the indoor conditions. But I have tested this radio in the outdoor conditions and I have to say that it is not the best one. So maybe in the summer days on the direct sun will be a little bit problem to read those values on the screen. The case of this receiver is made of the 3D printed plastic, but still I have a really good feeling of holding this tiny radio in my hands. The only thing what I can read on this enclosure is this radio here on the left side. The front panel is equipped by this 1.9-inch screen and this only one controller on it is the knob and button at the same time. On the left side of the radio we can find this tiny blue on-off switch. On top of the radio we can see the SMA female connector and the USB-C charging port. I believe that the USB-C charging port can be used in the future for a firmware update. On the right side of this enclosure you can see a 3.5mm socket. This is also the stereo socket and the radio plays pretty nice, especially on the FM. Of course, it depends on your headphones. On the bottom of the radio there is just the one hole here, and this is actually the charging indication. There is hiding a green LED which is shining only while charging. Once the radio is fully charged, this LED will turn off. On the back side of the radio there are 4 holes for the screws and this hole for a built-in speaker. Yes, this radio is equipped with the built-in speaker, which is pretty well. It's not playing very nice, it's missing bass frequencies, it's much more peaks on the high frequencies, but it is still very handy if you have a built-in speaker and you don't need to connect an external speaker, especially when you use this radio as a ultra-portable radio. For the desktop use, you can also use this tiny tripod stand with this holder for a phones. So I'm going to use this holder for my little receiver when I'm going to use it as a desktop receiver. Well, using this radio is extremely simple. There is no any complicated menu inside. So all what you need to control this radio is this little encoder. This encoder is equipped with the button feature as well. So if you wish to tune your radio, you're turning the knob. If you wish to enter into the band mode, or if you wish to select the other band, you have to push this knob just one time. Here on the left side you can see the bands and select which one you wish to use. If you wish to enter into the feature menu and if you wish to change the bandwidth, volume or any other features, you have to push this knob 2 times in a row, but very quickly. Here you can see the second menu with the features, and as you can see that this menu will appear and also disappear very quickly. So unfortunately you have to be very quick to decide and select the feature which you like to set. So let's go again. So 2 times the knob, and with this rotating you are selecting the mode or feature you wish to adjust. So what we have in this menu, here we can see the soft mute, AGC or automatic gain control or attenuator settings, bandwidth settings, BFO settings, mode, step, volume, and mute the audio and back again on the band. This is cycling all the way. So if you wish to select some of the features, if you wish to set, for example, the bandwidth of this receiver, so you have to go back to this second menu by pressing 2 times of the knob. And let's find the bandwidth feature. Here it is. So click on this knob and select which bandwidth you wish to use or set. So we have here 0.5 kilohertz, 1 kilohertz, 1.2 kilohertz, 2.2 kilohertz, 3 kilohertz, 4 kilohertz, and so forth. This is also cycling all the way. And select the knob. So this is how the whole radio actually works. There is a tiny S meter here on this side. And here you can see the mode selected in this band. Here on this corner you can see current settings of this radio. Here in the top corner is the battery icon and also the band selected and large frequency reading, which is pretty nice graphic. If you want to use this radio outdoors, you can use this included antenna, which is the frame antenna, which works pretty well and pretty well comparable with the classic telescopic whip. But the problem is when you wish to use this radio inside of your shack and connect the bigger antenna to it, this radio is not equipped with any filtering inside. So there is a really big chance that this radio gets overloaded after you connect an external antenna, some kind of dipole or any other kind. But for connection, I am going to use this tiny adapter, which is the SMA male adapter to the BNC female. Pretty the same you are maybe using in the modified Guangshan's radios. So I have on my external antenna the BNC connector in the cable, which is over here. Let me show you how this radio sounds like on the built-in speaker, which is on the back side of this receiver. As I told you that the quality of this receiver or built-in speaker is not very high, but it is always good to have the built-in speaker in the radio.
Papa 1, Florida, Mexico, 5 by 9, 59, Roger. Expo 3 kilo, qui Japan, 59. Good luck, you are set.
I am going now connect this radio with my Bluetooth speaker. Yes, it is a Bluetooth speaker, but it doesn't work via the Bluetooth with this radio, even when this radio is equipped with the Bluetooth transmitter. The Bluetooth feature is not available in this firmware, so maybe in the next firmware we will have also the Bluetooth audio link. For now, I'm going to connect the 3.5mm jack to this radio and turn on the Bluetooth speaker.
73, good luck, you are set, Italy, 2, Whiskey Alpha.
He's actually got the German military Patriot missile system as his tower.
Quebec 0, India 0, Kilo 59023.
And now I'm going to make the bandwidth a little bit wider. So now it is on 3 kHz. I'm going to change it to 4 kHz.
Proszę klubową Stefan Paweł 8, Karol, Franek również 59. Ale ja zawoda pracuję, zawoda. Przepraszam, nie wiedziałem, przepraszam. Roger, Roger. 26, 59012.
110 the log, thank you. Sierra November 80, Sugar Norway 80, contact.
Just trying to beat that. Coming from...
India 2, Whiskey Alpha. India 2, Whiskey Alpha. Radio. Radio 15.
We have a copy on you. So where do we use Gustavo? Gustavo, go ahead.
Papa, Seco Charlie 5 Sierra, Papa.
Sugar Norway for Whiskey America.
You're also able to receive the citizen band or CB band or free band at 27555 in upper sideband, but you have to count that this band will be very crowded by overloading signals from the AM stations. You can also set 5 kHz step for the CB band and so on. Well, this receiver performs very well also on the FM band. As you can see over here, this receiver decodes also the RDS signals on the FM. This band also includes frequencies like 64 MHz, so you are able to receive the signals from 64 MHz up to 108 MHz. It also does the stereo reception, and it has a very good selectivity and also sensitivity. I'm able to receive also the faint DX signals on FM band, and also I'm able to completely attenuate very or extremely strong local FM band transmitter 25, maybe 30 kilometers away from me. So if I tune my radio 100 kilohertz to the side, this radio station will disappear. So let me show you how this receiver sounds like on the FM band. I'm not able to record the music, so I will try to find some talking station.
Összevonták kétszer, így lett a finom étel, neve a lángos, ugye tudjátok. Messze volt, hallottam az ottani talponálóban, hogy a azért, hogy paksan, a halak szinte sugároznak a boldogságtól. Most már építették a Paks 2 atomerőmű. Sőt, építették meg. Figyeltek, éjjel a munkásszálláson a férfiak, akkor lehetett hallani a maghasadást.
Well, the only problem I see on the FM band reception is the overloading signals by using a large antenna, as in this case. So you may hear some spurious signals or harmonics on whole band in between those stations. But if you use some classic telescopic whip antenna, this problem will disappear.
Segíteni fog karácsonykor a konyhában. Bizony, ezt józanul csináltam.
Že bola som informácia, aj keby na žiadnej skúške nebola.
No je takých piesní, ktoré tam odznejú, je aj mis dobrých nádejí, ktorej autorom hudby je Jiří Zmožek.
Also, let me compare the output audio signal with this Bluetooth speaker and built-in speaker in FM mode.
Házi munkát, mondom, másnap megint megpróbálom, de mondom, most sokkal okosabban fogok dönteni. A Micsoda nő című filmből megvan a főszereplő? Ugye, Richard Gere, hát mondom, és úgy higgyék el, hogy sikerült vele álmodnom, egy ilyen exkluzív étteremben ülök az asztalnál, kinyílik az ajtó, ott áll ő abban a bizonyos öltönyben, rózsa a kezében, megvolt a szemkontaktus, és így jön felé. Hú, mondom, mindjárt ideér. Erre azt veszem észre, hogy egy pincér ott áll az asztalon mellett, és annyit mondta, hogy elnézést, hölgyem, telefonon keresik. Mondom, biztos nem fontos, majd visszahívom. De a férje keresi, hogy hol van a gatyája.
Well, yes, this output audio signal is much better from the external speaker, but of course, the speaker and built-in speaker is not so bad at all, actually. So let me show you the AM station on long waves, how I can receive it over here on an external speaker.
Warto sprawdzić, czy to nie jest jednak jakaś choroba, szczególnie jeżeli do tego dołącza się wypadanie włosów, łamliwość paznokci, ta właśnie wysuszona skóra, a u pacjentek, u kobiet to jeszcze zaburzenia miesiączkowania.
Chciałem zapytać też o to, dlaczego ta niedoczynność tarczycy tak jest niekorzystna dla kobiet w ciąży, ale także tutaj dla dziecka, które jeszcze nie urodziła pani doktor.
Tak, ponieważ ta tarczyca wpływa nie tylko na taki ogólny metabolizm naszego organizmu, ale także na to, jak kształtuje się w okresie płodowym i potem, a też potem jakby sprawnie działa ten mózg, to jest tak bardzo...
As you can see that we have also 9 kHz step in this case, which is pretty good. Disadvantage of this receiver is that this radio doesn't have pre-programmed the WARC bands. And therefore, if you wish to go to, for example, 18.130, which is 17 meter band, you need to select the all, it goes like all bands over here. So here in this case, you are able to go through the whole shortwave bands. So you can start on 150 kilohertz and you can go straight up to 30 megahertz. Well, there's also one thing what I have to mention, that if you finished listening on some specific band in some specific mode, the mode will be not stored into the memory when you switch to the different band. So if you finished listening on 20 meter band upper sideband, and if you move to, for example, long waves and AM modulation, the AM modulation will be not switched automatically. And therefore you have to always go to this menu and you have to go to the mode and then you have to select the AM. So this is also some other bug which I found. Also, this receiver has a little bit more bugs like frequency instability. So if I stored some frequency, if I set some BFO on it, and if I turn off and turn on the radio, I found that this frequency was not at the same place. These are some minor bugs which should be fixed in the next firmware.
Contest Italy, Zulu 2, Bravo, Victor Charlie, contest.
Okay, so let me also connect this frame antenna to this receiver, and I am wondering if there is any reception here inside my room. Well, this supplied frame antenna is actually bidirectional antenna. You can see also two icons on the side, which means that the signals or required signals which you want to listen, you need to rotate this antenna towards them over here. So if the signal coming from this side or from this side, then you will hear this signal the best. If you rotate this antenna like this, you will not receive this signal. And therefore, to easily rotate this antenna, I decided to combine these two BNC adapters. So I connect this adapter to my radio, and this one will be connected to this frame antenna. I will rotate actually this antenna on this BNC adapter, which is much easier than rotate this antenna on this SMA connector. As I was not able to tune and receive any station on the single sideband here in my room, I decided to show you the bidirectionality of this antenna on the long waves and the AM broadcast station. So this is direction when I do not receive this station, and when I turn the antenna towards Poland, which is over there, I am now able to receive this station. So let's see. Now this appeared. And now let me connect the telescopic whip antenna to the radio and compare how the telescopic whip antenna will perform. With the telescopic whip antenna, I receive nothing but the noise. Let me connect the frame antenna back again. Yeah, it's truly amazing how well the frame antenna works compared to the vertical. The vertical receives much more noise than the signal what we want to listen. Okay, and now something for feinschmeckers, for technicians who are interested and curious what is hidden inside this radio. So you have to loosen these 4 screws on the back side of the radio. Unfortunately, mine radio came with 2 broken screws. They look like this, so I had to make those 2 little holes deeper, and I had to use a different and shorter screws. So if you open the back side of this radio, you can see there a speaker. The speaker is right on the back side of this cover. Tiny wires are going to this tiny connector. Then we have the battery, which is permanently fixed to the PC board. So I cannot disconnect this battery right now. And over there you can see the PC or the main board of this radio. Here you can see this ESP32 module, and as you can see here, it has also the wireless module inside built in. So I presume that the Bluetooth should work in the future with this radio. I think it's just a matter of the firmware. Here on this right side you can see the Si4732 receiver chip, which is mainly used in every cheap Chinese receiver. Here you can see also this tiny switch and this tiny, it's really tiny blue 3D printed switch as well. SMA female connector connected straight to this chip is sign that if you connect a bigger antenna to this receiver, definitely this receiver will be overloaded by the strong AM stations. And here on the left side we can see here maybe a tiny audio amplifier. I'm not able to see clearly what type is it. And probably the Li-on battery charger. There is really not much what to see on this board. So let me open second side of the board. Yeah, we have to remove. Well, I forgot to turn off the radio. Hope I will not destroy it. Okay, and here we have the front panel of this receiver. It looks gorgeous, really. And this small, or actually big IPS display. We can also see a flex cable connected to this chip. We can see also 3D printed frame made of plastic and encoder. Here we can see the model ESP32 Si4732. Okay friends, so what do you say about this tiny Pocket SSB shortwave receiver from China? If you are looking for the link of this radio, go down into the video description. If you like this video, please don't forget to hit the like button. And if you like to see my more incoming videos, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching this video and hope to see you in my next one.